Oh, it's an interesting day to be a Spider-Man fan. We just got revealed the first trailer for the Sony Spider-Man spin-off film, Madam Web, and we know exactly how it goes whenever these trailers are revealed. There's always going to be one or two Spider-Man little Easter egg references in this trailer that'll hook us up and that make us maybe think, is there a chance of seeing Toby? Is there a chance of seeing Andrew? Is Tom Holland going to pop up? Any of them, please. But surprisingly, this was probably the first Spider-Man spin-off trailer that didn't bait us with a possible Spider-Man appearance in the future. And instead, we got some spider ladies. So even though I'm away from the studio, currently in Mexico visiting family, I am still going to give you guys a trailer breakdown on this thing. Because look at this. I bought this shirt out in the streets of Mexico. It's a cool shirt, isn't it? I can't find this in America. So I'll be going into the Easter eggs, references, who these characters are, how this connects to the Sony spin-off world. But I really want to hear from you guys as well, because the internet, I don't even want to say, is pretty divided. I think 70% of fans I've been seeing online think this trailer was garbage. It looks dumb, cheesy, don't want to watch it. And then there's a couple of dumb ones like me going, yeah, you know what? Doesn't look that bad. It looks a little fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was them in Spider-Man costumes. That's when I was like, all right, I'll check it out. But okay, yes, getting the basics out of the way, this is connected to the Sony Spider-Man spin-off world. It is taking place in the early 2000s. I feel like the trailer didn't really make that clear unless you were really looking at stuff in the background. But this movie is taking place in New York around like 2000 to 2005. So this will kind of put us well before, you know, Venom starts lurking around the streets, Morbius starts going around, and who knows what Kraven is doing right now. But we're going to be following Dakota Johnson as Cassandra Webb, the first Madam Webb, before she ends up in her wheelchair and starts receiving her clairvoyant powers. Although it's not exactly like what she could do in the comics, she can still see a bit into the future as long as it's relating to Spider-Man characters. And this trailer does point out that connection with some spider-web imagery. I thought that was kind of nice of them. Some of the characters we have going on here is Sydney Sweeney. She'll be playing the character of Julia Carpenter, the second Madam Web, but also Spider-Woman, who does don the black and white suit in this movie. Now, we're going to talk about this scene here, but all the spider ladies in here get to have their costumes somewhere in the film. The other person we get is Celeste O'Connor, who will be playing Maddie Franklin, who in her comic book appearance also has the spider legs to her back, and she's going to be getting that costume in the movie. Isabella Merced will be playing Anya Corazon, who in the comics is sometimes just known as Araña, which means spider in Spanish. See, came from Mexico just to learn that for you. I already knew that, guys. But she also dons a similar black, white / silver costume that she does get here. Heck, Sony's trying to even get as comic faithful as possible because her character is known to have this like spider bot gadget she tosses around, and at one point in the trailer, she does toss that bot. But it looks like what will be happening here is once Madam Web starts gaining her clairvoyant powers and seeing people around her die, she kind of makes it her mission to protect these three ladies from future harm from Ezekiel Sims, who will be our villain of the film in this crazy black and red Spider-Man-like costume. I can't tell if I like this suit or I hate it. I do kind of dig the red webbing on the black, but in some angles it looks a little goofy and kind of CW-ish, and that's a lot of the complaints I'm seeing about this trailer, is that it gives off CW vibes, a little bit low budget. But this is kind of where the trailer hooked me in once Ezekiel pops in his spider costume and starts taking these girls down one by one, ending off with a knife to the stomach on Madam Web, and then introducing the time loop. I was like, yo, this might be trash, but it's gonna be trash I'm gonna probably enjoy watching. This kind of looks already way more fun to me than Morbius did. It appears that every time Madam Web dies in trying to protect the girls, she gets to go back to the beginning of the event and start over. I think that adds an interesting dynamic into the movie I wasn't expecting and is gonna make a lot of it more fun. We had heard that this movie was gonna be more of a ripoff of the Terminator plot, because that's originally what we heard was gonna be happening in here, is that Ezekiel was trying to look for Peter Parker's parents, which we do know Adam Scott is supposed to be playing Ben Parker, and we get a shot of him in this trailer. And Emma Roberts is supposed to be playing Mary Parker, who we don't get in the trailer, but on the social media account for Madam Web, they did reveal this featurette kind of letting you know a little bit about the character, and we do get to see Emma Roberts' back during what I believe is a baby shower, because you can see a lot of blue balloons in hint to her being pregnant with a little baby Peter Parker. I'm thinking the movie is going to treat the Peter Parker reveal kind of like a twist thing by the end of the movie, where she believes she's protecting all the spider people from the future of Ezekiel, and then at the end she starts to realize, oh wait, there's one more. baby Peter Parker. And I guess I kind of like that there. For the majority of the movie, we'll be protecting the women, and then Peter Parker will come towards the end, I'm assuming, to tease something for the Sony universe, letting you know that little baby Peter Parker is out there somewhere, so that when you flash forward to Venom's time, we should have the variant Spider-Man Peter Parker somewhere walking around 17, 16 years old, depending when in the early 2000s this movie takes place. But going back to Ezekiel Simmons here, in the comics, he never really had this black and red costume that they give him, but they do give him what he usually shows up dressed as in the comics, which is this suit with his bare feet out. Ezekiel has sometimes towed the line from being a villain as Spider-Man to then helping out Spider-Man. Essentially, he was just someone that got his Spider-Man-like powers through a ritual, used them to earn money in the future, and after receiving these powers, he was also informed of Spider-Man totems and other Spider-Man related people that had higher power than him who could best him, and that's where they're trying to introduce that this character can also see into the future, because we do get two versions of Ezekiel Simmons in here, a younger version and an older version with white hair. And I feel like the scenes in the trailer where they're showing all the women in their Spider-Man costumes fighting off an old Ezekiel Simmons is his future and fate as a villain, is that one day he will be defeated by these three spider people, probably part of the Spider Society, and he's just wanting to secure his future and not be taken down by them, so he thinks, oh, I'll just go back in time and take them down then. But also looking at him, if you zoom in right here, wrong zoom in, he's also using tech and gadgets, so a lot of his wealth will also attribute to the things he'll be using to fight off with these girls. I do also want to give my hats off to Sony for a couple of scenes in here where they're showing newspapers. Anytime a newspaper is visible in a Spider-Man spin-off trailer, there is always some BS Spider-Man reference on it. But not this time. I zoomed in, I cleared up, I enhanced that image, and nothing. No Spider-Man reference. They're not trying to bait us here. Overall, look, I know this movie's not going to be great. It's going to be trash. I'm mainly just excited for people in Spider-Man costumes, the time loop gimmick, the early 2000s look that I kind of am fond of. This is going to be the perfect example of a guilty pleasure for me. As long as it can keep me entertained throughout it, and Ezekiel can continue feeling like this serial killer Spider-Man, I'm going to enjoy this in a trashy way. Morbius was one of the Spider-Man spin-offs I was just bored out of my mind sitting through. I did not enjoy the experience at all. I'm hoping Kraven the Hunter will be fun in its rated R aspect, but this actually just looks to be like cheesy fun. So I'm not going to be too harsh on it, but at the same time, I'm not going to be expecting too much out of this movie either. Throwing it off to you guys. You see the trailer for Madam Web. What do you make of this? Is this something you're actually going to spend your money to see? Are you going to wait for it to come to streaming? Or are you just going to wait till I make a video and spoil everything and tell you what you need to know? Because you the real MVPs if you do that for me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.
It's Morbid time.